Welcome back to third time's the charm. Welcome back to Absolutely the Best Podcast, a work in progress. I'm Zach, and with me, as always, is my good friend George.
Hey.
This is Series 1, Episode 22, and today we're talking about Avengers Infinity War from April 27th, 2018. After we discuss the movie, we'll figure out where to place it in our MCU movie ranking and our mission to figure out which one is absolutely the best. As a reminder, we assume the listener has seen the movie before, and of course, there will be spoilers.
For sure on this one.
I mean, there's I don't know, at least a dozen movies you need to watch before this one, I would say. But, I feel like I would be curious if this was somebody's first MCU movie, how well they could follow along, because I think that they do drop little things here and there, certainly for any critical information that you need.
I feel like I feel like the characters are well known enough that you could kind of figure it out without having had, like, if you've watched any comic book adjacent anything, mm-hmm. you'd have an idea. Like, everybody knows who Captain America is, right?
Right.
Maybe not so much Iron Man, but like Captain. Well, I mean, actually, no.
People know Iron Man.
Yeah, Captain America and Iron Man. People know him, right? You'd have to be living under a rock to not know Iron Man, I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, I don't recommend going into this as your first one, but I would be curious if anybody has. I'm sure they have, but I'd be curious if anybody has and enjoyed it. Do you want to go first on your movie memories and initial thoughts, or do you want me to go first?
You know what? I don't really have any really real memories of this, mostly because all I remember is being super, super like crazy excited for it. In the comic books, there's always these annuals where they have these big story arcs where everybody gets involved, and it's like every superhero has like a cameo of some sort, right? Mm-hmm. And Infinity War was one of those like really huge like story arcs. So I was super excited to begin with, knowing that Thanos was finally coming out, and he was going to collect these Infinity Stones, because we've sort of been going down the road, just being introduced to the time, space, and the other gems. We haven't really seen like the Soul Stone so much. Right. But the other ones we've definitely
reality. I don't think we saw the reality one.
The reality one was that's the red one that was inside of Jane Foster.
Yeah. I guess we saw it a little bit. Kind of. Yeah. Just
a tiny bit, right? So we've seen like hints of how powerful these Infinity Stones are. So the idea of Thanos getting them all and just wrecking shop, and the Avengers having to stop him, I think I was so excited going into it, and then knowing it was going to be two parts, right? Because we've already seen Civil War. So I like knew the Russo brothers were going to do this. So I don't really know anything, because that feeling is all I remember walking into it. And I was really excited and sad that there was that big cliffhanger at the end.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure I must have known that it was two parts, but I think I didn't realize how much of a cliffhanger that is. I mean, it is the end of a movie. You're not totally left hanging, but you're definitely
spoiler alert, 50% of the world dies.
Yes. You're definitely left wanting to know what happens next, and you had to wait a year to find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. I have an initial thought for you, or a memory for you. I remember when you saw it.
Did I watch it with you?
No, I was like, that's too late. It was when we were in, were we in Portland or Seattle? We were in Seattle, right?
Yeah. I think so.
And you met some coworkers who were in the area, and you guys were going to like a midnight showing on opening night, which is, first of all, not my thing. And second of all, way too late. I was like, I cannot sit through an almost 3-hour movie starting at 11 p.m. or something.
Oh my God, that's right. I remember it now. I watched it with my team. I had a team of software developers up in Seattle, and I took everybody out right after.
Yeah. And I just remember after you went and saw it, the rest of that trip, you were trying not to say anything. I feel so bad for you in retrospect, because that must have been really, really hard to keep your mouth shut about.
It was. All I wanted to do was talk to anybody about that movie right after it.
Yeah.
And so like, and you were, and yeah, because we were all there in town in Seattle, and you hadn't seen it, and you were very much like, no spoilers.
Yes. I wanted to know, but I was like, no, I cannot let him spoil it for me. Yeah, so I waited a little bit longer to see it because we were having Cove family vacations, and I ended up seeing it twice in the theater, though. I liked it so much. And I don't know how many times since then, just many, many, many times. It's one of my favorites in the MCU.
Yes.
I don't really remember my expectations before seeing it, but I do remember walking out of the theater essentially in shock. It just left such an impression on me. And, not to show my hand here too much, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be, at least if it's up to me, it's going to probably be the new number one, depending on how this conversation goes. And I don't know, it might stay that way.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it. I was like, I don't know where this lands, because like I said, several movies that I thought were my number ones weren't.
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much we I mean, I kind of suspect you're gonna be right anyway, because I fucking adored this movie. And we just came off of Black Panther, and seeing Black Panther like disappear, that was like for me it was just like like I was just so loving this movie. I was like,
for me, again, I'm going to jump ahead here because I have this in the notes later, but when Black Panther disappeared at the end of this movie, I was like, okay, they're going to undo this.
They have to, right?
Because there's no way they're going to kill like their one black superhero who just had a kick-ass movie. Like I knew immediately they're going to Control Z that. But it was a long wait, and for the resolution, and we'll get to that when we get to it.
The sad part about this is knowing that Ant-Man and Wasp is the next movie.
Yes, yeah.
That's the saddest part for me.
I've already gone through it, and you should be sad. Be very, very sad.
Oh Lord.
So let's get into the movie now. Who made it? Infinity War is the 19th movie in the MCU series, written by the writing team of Marcus and McFeely, Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, directed by Joe and Anthony Russo. We've talked about all those guys before in the Captain America movies. Not the first one, but Winter Soldier and Civil War. The main characters, there's way too many for us. We'll be here all night just discussing the characters. We've talked about all of them before in terms of like big main characters. So I vote we just kind of skip this part and move it along. If that's okay with you. I didn't even prepare it, so I'm assuming it's okay. Real quick, we do have some new characters. We have Peter Dinklage as Eitri. He's a giant dwarf who operates the forge at Nidavellir, where Mjolnir was originally made. Peter Dinklage is a great actor. He's got a, no pun intended, a small role as a giant here. And then Thanos has some henchmen that have a pretty significant part here, or hench people, because one of them is a lady.
Hench folks.
What's that?
Hench folks.
Yeah, I like that. Tom Von Lawler as Ebony Maw, Carrie Coon as Proxima Midnight, Terry Notary as Cull Obsidian, and Michael James Shaw as Corvus Glaive. The only one I've heard of is Carrie Coon, and I think she's a voice actor, but I'm not positive on that. I forget.
Oh, they're called the Black Order, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I was like, there's a name for them besides hench folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called the Black Order.
Right. I guess. I think I knew that, but I was like his members of the Black Order, and then I didn't want to get into a whole thing about the Black Order, but that's fine.
I mean, it's like the anti-Avengers, right?
Yeah, exactly. So let's get into the main discussion. I would like to approach this one a little bit differently than what we normally do. I think normally we kind of go sequentially through the movie, as what happens, try to hit the important plot points, skip over stuff that maybe isn't so important. I'm proposing that we do this by stone.
Sure.
So we'll just kind of rearrange what happens, and we'll talk about what happens for Thanos to acquire each of the stones. So, with that, we start with the Power Stone, and off screen before the movie even starts, Thanos has already acquired the Power Stone. Done.
Which, like, when you think about it, though, the fact that he beat the crap out of the Hulk without even using the Power Stone.
Well, that's in the next section, actually.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like,
right.
I think he started off with the right one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
right?
totally. So the Power Stone was in Xandar, right? That's where the Guardians had left it.
Yep.
This is only a 2.5 hour movie. They couldn't fit a Xandar scene in there.
I mean, maybe not, because then you'd have to show Xandar being decimated.
Yeah.
Honestly, the way the MCU has treated Xandar and the Nova Corps has been pretty sad for me, because it's just such a cool storyline and they have really cool powers in general. So I'm fine with them not showing that they all got messed up.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of curious now what happens to the Xandarians and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, presumably half of them are still alive.
Yeah. True. Right.
I was pretty much joking about couldn't they fit that in? 2.5 hours is plenty long.
I would have been fine with a 3-hour Infinity.
I would have too. I mean, as long as the other 30 minutes was as good as the 150 minutes that is already there.
I have faith in the Russo brothers.
Oh, totally.
I'm sure it would be.
So as far as I know, there was never anything shot for Thanos acquiring the Power Stone, but in the commentary with both directors and both writers, there were some versions of the script that had included something about it. It was going to be a scene where Gamora and Thanos would encounter one another, and then this is what they ended up doing later on and nowhere instead. I also inferred from the discussion that with collecting the Power Stone, especially if Gamora was not going to be meeting him there, right? Because they kind of moved that to the Reality Stone section. But in acquiring the Power Stone, there was not much of an emotional impact versus that scene that happens when he gets the Reality Stone.
Right.
So just to wrap up the section, we also find out a little later that Thor has a little more detail on how Thanos got the Power Stone. After he's rescued by the Guardians of the Galaxy, he says how he got it from Xandar. Although I'm not really sure how he knew that, but I guess he must have known.
I think he already knew that it was there, and he saw it on the glove, on the gauntlet.
Oh, he obviously saw that he had it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
and so he just assumed bad luck.
Yes. So moving on to the Space Stone then. The movie begins now where the mid-credits stinger left off in Thor Ragnarok. Thanos has intercepted the Statesman. He's decimated the Asgardians on board and pummeled Thor. He takes the Tesseract from Loki, beats up Hulk, and kills Heimdall for using the Bifrost to send Hulk away. Loki tries to kill Thanos, but ends up getting killed instead by Thanos. And Thanos blasts the Statesman with the Power Stone and then leaves, making use of his newly acquired Space Stone. So that's a quick summary of that. What did you think about this opening scene?
Did you catch, like, I think this time around, did you catch that in the SOS, in the distress call, they were saying that we're 22 jump points outside of Asgard?
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that makes the Guardians of the Galaxy 2, where Rocket and them were going 400 jump points.
700.
700. Super far.
Yeah.
To get to Ego.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just thought that was interesting. No, this was a very sad scene, but I thought it was the best way to show that Thanos doesn't fuck around.
Yeah. I mean, he's driven. And
right.
I'm probably going to repeat myself a bunch of times on this, but I really, really like the motivation that they gave Thanos. It's not about power. It's about fixing a problem of like overpopulation, basically, as he sees it. Whether that's correct or not, that's like in his mind, there's just too many beings to be sustained, and here's a quick fix.
Yeah, it kind of, you can't, like as a if you remove passion and whatever morale, you're like a moral compass from it, that works, right?
I mean, I don't even know if you have
With
to remove
limited
the
resources.
moral compass, because like the whole thing is it's random. He's not like, oh, well, nobody that I know is going to die, right? That's not part of the deal. It's just like, flip of a coin. I mean, he's very pragmatic about it, which in a weird way I kind of admire. So watch out for me.
No, I mean, he's a great villain.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I'm scared of this Doctor Doom thing. I was scared of Kang the Conqueror. Because compared to Thanos, it's like, how much worse can it get?
I'm glad you brought up King the Conqueror, because I was thinking about that the other day compared to Thanos, and I think that's part of what I didn't really like about Kang. Was just like his thing was just like, well, time. Like, I don't really know what his deal was. He's at the end of time or something, and I don't know. I had trouble relating to him.
Yep.
Anyways,
I liked how Thor was already just beat up.
Yep.
And that after Ragnarok, the guy is at peak Thor power, right? Like, he had just overcome that mental block. I'm not the god of hammers.
You're right. Yeah.
And he still got his ass handed to him. And he got his ass handed to him on a ship full of Asgardians, who are some of the strongest beings in the universe.
Yep.
Right? Like, Heimdall's no slouch. And so, like, holy crap.
Yeah, it's a strong opening. It was really hard for me to see Thor so helpless too, right?
Yeah. Especially after Ragnarok. Ragnarok was such a high, and then you're like, oh shit, everyone got their asses handed to them, the Hulk.
I feel like in Ragnarok, you start to see that he's not completely invulnerable, right? He lost an eye. Hela works him over pretty good. Here he gets worked over really, really bad, right? And then in Endgame, I mean, he just kind of loses it, right? He's not mentally well for a while. I really like it too when to Loki he says, like, I want the Tesseract, or he says, give me the Tesseract, and Thor doesn't think he has it, right? And then but then the look on Loki's face when Thor tells Thanos that the Tesseract was destroyed in Asgard, and Loki's like, ugh. And then Thor's like, you really are the worst, brother.
Dude, that made me laugh so hard.
in such a tough scene to watch too, right? It's funny. They could still get the humor in there. So what else about the scene? Loki gets to do the "We have a Hulk" line.
Yep.
Right, and then unfortunately, Hulk is not strong enough to beat up Thanos, and that, like you said, I had it in my mind that he was using the Power Stone, but I watched carefully this time, and he does not fire that thing up once. He's just straight up stronger than the Hulk.
No, I mean, you remember hearing Ebony Maw was like, the Ebony Maw stopped Cull Obsidian from even stepping in. He was like, no, let him have his fun.
Oh, really? I didn't notice that. Speaking of Ebony Maw, that dude is creepy. Yeah. He just walks in, he's like, you have the privilege of being saved by the great Titan Thanos.
Oh my God. He has the best lines though, right?
Yeah.
I love his lines.
He's like Thanos' hype man, but in a really creepy way.
It's like he has that dark priest vibe.
Yes.
Which just works because of his lines, and then just the way that he walks and glides. And then he's just extremely overpowered also. He just he's also strong. Manhandling Thor.
Pretty strong and also kind of magical.
Well, I think it's for him. It was just all telekinetic.
Yeah. That was the word I was looking for, but I couldn't come up with it. So when Loki tries to kill Thanos, it was kind of put off by Thanos using the Space Stone to stop Loki's arm. He could have just been he could have easily just grabbed Loki's arm instead. Yep. And I was just like, I don't know, maybe he's getting used to using the Space Stone. He's getting a little lazy. I don't know.
He's just flexing.
Yeah. But then
he's like, I don't even have to move.
Yeah, exactly. And then Thanos says he kills Loki, chokes him to death, right? And then he's like, no resurrections this time.
Yeah, which is sad. By this time in the movies, I really grew to like Loki a lot.
Oh, totally. I mean, they did a great job.
Especially after all that stuff in Ragnarok.
Yeah. Well, and like he says, no resurrections this time, but then there's 2 seasons of Loki, so
It's a different Loki though.
oh, that's right.
It's a Loki variant.
Right.
Yeah. By the way, fair warning: if I ever get my hands on an Infinity Gauntlet, I am not making this Thanos mistake. I'm not leaving anybody like Thor or the Hulk alive.
So at the end of the scene, Thanos destroys the Statesman with the Power Stone.
Yeah.
And like what happened to all the Asgardians that were on board? Like in the commentary,
they'd escaped, right? I thought they had escaped.
I kind of thought that too, but I didn't see or hear that happen. And only in the commentary there was something about, they said something about several Asgardians have escaped. Mm-hmm. So I hope several means like 50% or so.
Yeah, Valkyrie had I think led the escape while Thor and Heimdall I think stalled like the Black Order folks.
I could have used a little bit more on that just to really clue me in, but
I mean that's what I assume.
Right, exactly. Well, that's exactly like I'm assuming
I think they went into it in Endgame a little bit.
Oh, maybe it gets explained later.
Yeah,
I'd be okay with that. And similarly to how did Thor know that the Power Stone was in Xandar, how did Thanos know that Loki had the Tesseract? Does he just have like Infinity Stone radar?
I just, yeah, I mean, it might be stretching, but I just assumed that the Asgardians, especially Odin being the Allfather, kept an eye on all the stones and knew where they all were.
And I guess Thanos has worked with Loki before, and
right.
Probably wasn't too hard to surmise that he probably has the Tesseract.
Yeah, he probably knew that like there's no way they were going to blow up Asgard and like let the Tesseract blow up with it.
Right. I mean, I don't even know if it would blow up with it, but I'm sure. Yeah, he probably he's like, I know Loki. He's got to have it.
And he wasn't wrong.
No, I really like the and the Marvel opening credits with like the comic book pages flipping and whatnot, where it's just like this ominous droning music instead of the usual Marvel fanfare song. That was a nice touch.
I love how they change that up for all the different movies.
It's always updated a little bit. Well, every couple of movies usually.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about Thanos getting the Reality Stone. We got to go out of order a little bit here. We're going to be jumping around. But the Guardians of the Galaxy respond to the Statesman's distress signal, and they literally run into Thor drifting in space. He's still alive. After Mantis wakes Thor, Gamora tells everyone about Thanos' one goal, which is to bring balance to the universe. Thor reasons that Thanos will go after the Reality Stone next, but he needs a new weapon. So Thor, Rocket, and Groot go to Nidavellir, while the rest of the crew head straight to nowhere, where the Reality Stone is with the Collector.
Right. This is one of my favorite scenes.
It's a good one.
Guardians of the Galaxy meeting Thor.
I tried to find like any concrete evidence of how much did James Gunn have a hand in like writing for the Guardians of the Galaxy, and from what I could find, not very much. So they did a really good job of taking his voice for these characters and translating it into this movie. I know that the Russo brothers met with all the directors and got some guidance, but from what I could tell, there was no real writing or directing done by any of the other directors from the previous movies.
No, they nailed the Guardians of the Galaxy in this scene.
And they've managed to.
You made that up. He's a Nidavellir. You made that word up.
Oh yeah, so much of it is funny, and quotable. So when they first show up to the wreckage and there's all those bodies in space, and they see Thor, right? I'm pretty sure just by the look on her face, Gamora knows what's up. Like she knows that Thanos was there.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I mean maybe.
I don't know, but like I don't know, something about the way that she reacts to that scene. I like it when Rocket calls Groot a D-hole, a total D-hole. He calls him. D-hole has been one of my favorite insults for years. I stole that one from a friend in like 2009. So that I don't know where he got it from, but it wasn't this. I'd love to hear it here. It was great. Made me laugh.
I like Drax comparing Thor.
Yes, I was just about to say
Quill.
this part. Go. do you know it?
I
gotta put the quote in, so it doesn't really matter. But
How the hell is this dude still alive?
He is not a dude. You're a dude. This is a man. A handsome, muscular man.
I'm muscular.
But who are you kidding, Quill? You're one sandwich away from fat.
Yeah, they Quill doing like, all right, I'm gonna commit. I'm gonna get a Bowflex.
yes,
that whole bit, I was like, holy shit! Like the writing is so perfect for it. Like you just saw everybody get wiped out, and I'm laughing.
yeah, it's great.
What did he call him? He looks like a pirate made
It looks
love,
like, yeah, it looks like a pirate had a baby with an angel.
It is so good. It is so good. And then like that scene where Thor wakes up and then he's like, I need to kill Thanos, and then they're like, oh, that's Thanos' daughter, and he goes, families are hard.
Yes,
He looks like he's about to get pissed. And he goes,
yeah.
families are hard. I
was
understand.
That was great. It was a nice little twist. Well, and then that's when she talks about how Thanos wants to wipe out half of all life to bring balance to the universe. And in that explanation, there's a few important things. Apparently, he's been doing it the hard way, just one planet at a time, massacring populations, including Gamora's planet and Drax's as well. Importantly, she says that if he gets all 6 Infinity Stones, he can do it with a snap of his fingers. And I don't know about you, but the first time I saw this, I didn't think she meant literally a snap of her fingers. I thought that she just meant it would be super easy for him.
Oh.
But it's a literal snap, and it's kind of great.
Oh, it's perfect. I mean, it's perfect, and it underscores just how powerful that gauntlet is.
Does he? I mean, I presume in the comics he has a gauntlet and he gets all 6 Infinity Stones. Does he snap in that too, or is it something different?
Man, it's been a while. I remember everybody was trying to get it off of him, and he was just messing around because he was just so ridiculously overpowered.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you think his powers in the comic book are like crazy, he's even more just overpowered in the comic books than he is in the movies, because he's just he knows how to wield these stones. Inherently, he's just a genius, and he's one of the villains in the MCU in Marvel comics in general, where the only reason he's lost is because people postulate that he makes himself lose because he doesn't actually really want to win. Because it's too easy.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's just so smart, and there's nothing in it for him. So people are like, oh, he purposely loses or sets it up so that there is a sliver of chance that people are going to win, the heroes come out. But yeah, there's a storyline where he actually kills pretty much everybody, and then his old self from another timeline actually kidnaps him.
Oh, okay.
Because he's like the only worthy foe. It's pretty. He's just a really crazy, like, amazing villain, and yeah. Sorry, I went on a total tangent.
No, that's fine, no problem. I mean, it's kind of on topic. This is also the part where Thor says that Thanos already got the Power Stone from Xandar, and that he decimated the population. And you can't see if you're listening, but George has seen me do the air quotes for decimated. I'm going to keep calling it decimation, but it's technically not. If you decimate something, you reduce it to 1/10, and he's reducing to 1/2, which would be either a hemination or a semination. And neither one of those sound right, so I'm going to just go with their decimation. Oh, so I was talking about the look that Gamora gave when they first arrived on scene and she sees all the bodies, right? She gives an even better look when Thor mentions that no one knows where the Soul Stone is.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. You're like, oh, she knows something's up.
Girl knows.
A couple other things here. Oh, did you notice that Quill got the little space helmet thingy back? Or a new one, I guess.
Maybe he's got a new one. Yeah.
He's probably got a whole bin of them. They don't look like they take up too much space.
He should have had two. Then
Yeah, I
we'd
mean,
still
just
have
keep a few in your pockets. You never know when
Yeah.
you're going to need to rescue somebody in space.
right.
And let's see. Oh, I like the end of this scene. I forget why. Oh, I think Rocket was calling everybody a bunch of morons. And
Yes.
And Thor's like, "I bid you farewell and good luck, morons."
Yeah, just like he was like, you sound very smart. You must be the captain. And he goes, that's funny because I am.
Yes. So we'll pick up Thor's story in a bit when we discuss the Mind Stone. But from here, the movie, well, along the Reality Stone timeline, let's call it, there's a brief flashback scene where Thanos decimates Gamora's homeworld and then takes her with him, and he must see in her an opportunity to train her to be an assassin. He sees something valuable in her. Back on Quill's ship in present day, and for the movie, Gamora makes Quill promise that he'll kill her if Thanos gets a hold of her. And then they all go to nowhere to get the Reality Stone from Tainalir Tivan, also known as the Collector. But they're too late. Thanos already has a stone, and he manages to take Gamora with him. Are you laughing about something?
I was remembering the Drax being invisible.
Yes. Did I skip over that?
Yeah.
No, I think that's in this part. That's in this part.
Yeah, it's in that part.
Yeah.
I was giggling because the whole like I've learned how to move so slowly. I'm invisible.
Dude, how long have you been standing there?
An hour.
An hour?
Are you serious?
I've mastered the ability of standing so incredibly still that I've become invisible to the eye. Watch.
You're eating a Zarg nut.
But my movement was so slow that it's imperceptible.
No.
I'm sure I'm invisible.
Hi, Drax.
It's so stupid, but it's hilarious.
I love Dave Bautista. I will watch and support all his movies because he's great. I love this guy as Drax. It's kind of sad that he's not really. I don't think there are any plans for him to be Drax again.
I don't think he wants to be Drax anymore. That's got to be a hassle.
All those tattoos, like the stuff and the paint. Yeah, it's got to be a pain. But he's so good.
Yeah, that was great. Peter. So when Gamora's like, you got to promise that you'll kill me if Thanos gets a hold of me, and he obviously wants to know why. And she's like, I know something, and he's like, he wants to know what it is. And she says, if I tell you, then you'd know too. But I feel like she could be like, I know where the Soul Stone is, and then stop there, and it would be all right. But she won't even tell him that, right?
Yeah.
I do like it that she makes him swear on his mother. That was a nice touch. And he does, so he means it. And he does mean it, we find out later.
Yeah.
Then when they get to nowhere, did you see a certain Easter egg when they first get there and Thanos is talking to the Collector? Maybe a certain someone in a Collector case?
Oh, was it the Howard the Duck?
No, not that one.
No, that was,
a certain, maybe with some blue skin and a mustache.
Oh, I think I'm blanking. I feel like I knew this a while back.
Tobias Funke from Arrested Development.
Oh,
David Cross, right?
No. Yeah,
You ever
yeah.
see like the one where he
No, I
painted
did not
himself
know
blue?
that.
So you can see him in the background of this one scene, and he's just in a case. I mean, you can't really tell it's him, but it's a blue guy with a mustache, and it's supposedly him.
No, I did not know that. Huh.
Yeah. So, anyways, they get there. Thanos is there talking to the Collector. There's a lot of cool Reality Stone powers demonstrated here. I feel like the Reality Stone is the one that gets demonstrated the most in this movie, or certainly in the most grand ways. First of all, Thanos is tricking all of them by replaying the conversation that he had with the Collector because he already has the Reality Stone, right?
Right.
But he's just making it look like he doesn't. And he even goes so far as to let Gamora think that she killed him right? She stabs him or cuts him a couple of times, I think, and he acts like he's dying. And
Well, it
but he's
wasn't even
not.
him because he was like invisible in the corner just watching.
Was it? I thought it was just
Yeah.
I don't know. It's the reality stone is a little weird to me because I'll get to that in a minute, but
Yeah.
it's not clear to me if these things are like a vision, like a hallucination, or a like a hologram kind of thing, or what, right? Or some combination thereof. Anyways, when Drax tries to kill him, Thanos uses the stone to cube him. Like he just kind of like it's almost like in that movie Cube, right? He falls apart. Similarly, Mantis gets like spiral sliced. I guess this is something I picked up from the comics. Oh, I was going to drop this picture. Is there a chat in this? Yes, chat. Boom. Can you see that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's from the
except
comics.
he did it to Star Fox, or I think it's also Eros is his eternal name.
Yeah, but anyways, those two reality stone kills, they're not really dead, right? But those two things were from the comic. I guess it was the artist for that was Starlin, I forget. So, but this doesn't kill either one of them. They're fine once Thanos leaves and the reality stone powers wear off or whatever. So that's kind of my confusion. I don't really understand what the reality stone does.
I assumed it actually does warp warp reality based off of your imagination.
Mm-hmm. But it's
so if you can actually think of like cubing somebody like that, they turn into like actual cubes until you're far away, and it's like magic.
I mean, I guess
like,
you could warp reality enough where that wouldn't kill someone.
yeah.
Right. So
I mean, he could if he wanted to, and then they'd be dead.
Right.
Like if he imagined a big boulder on top of somebody just falling out of nowhere and it hits them and smashes them, then they'd be dead.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just seemed like once he left and the reality stone thing kind of just undoes, everybody's fine. So that was a little weird to me, and I thought about it too much this time. Anyways.
Is it not number one to you now?
We'll see. We'll find out at the end. When Thanos grabs Gamora and Peter reluctantly tries to honor his promise to kill her, but it's just bubbles that come out of the gun. That is a rough scene, man.
Yeah, because he was going to shoot her.
He was going to do it, and like you can see, he's getting choked up about it. He starts by pointing the gun at Thanos, and then Gamora's like, "Not him, you promised."
Ah, the boyfriend.
I like to think of myself more as a Titan-killing long-term booty call. Let her go.
Peter.
I'm gonna blow that nutsack of a chin right off your face.
Not him. You promised. You promised.
And then, then he tries.
Sorry.
What's that? That's funny to
because
you.
of the nut sacks that you. I'm gonna knock that nut sack of a chin.
Yes. It's good that they call it out in the movie because everybody else was thinking it and saying
totally thinking it, right? Yeah.
And then, but at the end of that, like after Peter tries to kill her, right, and just the bubbles come out, Thanos says, "I like him."
Yeah. Because he was like, "Oh, the boyfriend."
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, that scene gives me goosebumps. Though that's a strong one. That's up there for me.
Yeah. Then when you rewatch it and you know he's never going to see her again, and that like all the movies where Gamora is not. It's not that Gamora.
Right.
Which makes it like just really sad.
So Thanos has the Reality Stone, and that's 2 out of 3 that he actually gets a hold of off screen, right? Because he already had it when we showed up here. So moving on to the Time Stone, we got to jump back in the movie timeline a little bit again.
By the way, no being in the universe had ever collected more than one.
Right. I mean, for a reason too. So Hulk lands in the New York City Sanctum. And after turning back into Bruce Banner, he tells Doctor Strange and Wong about Thanos collecting Infinity Stones. Tony Stark is called in to help. Then Ebony Maw and Cull Obsidian arrive and try to take the Time Stone. Spider-Man joins the fight just before Maw takes Strange with him on his ship. And Iron Man and Spider-Man sneak aboard the ship and try to stop Ebony Maw from getting the stone. They do stop him, actually, not even trying. They did try, they were successful. So right away I had a question. How did Banner remember anything about when he was Hulk?
Because he actually does remember. He's just trapped in it. In Ragnarok, he was trapped in it for so long that
for
he
like
just
3
didn't
years
remember.
or 5 years, right?
Yeah.
And he doesn't remember any of it. So why does he remember it here?
So my understanding, well, I mean, if it works anywhere like the comics, is in that time period in Ragnarok, he, for whatever reason, when Hulk took off into space, he was just sick of everyone's shit and sick of people using him. And he was also, I think, distressed because of what Wanda did to his head. And so that persona of Hulk just took over the entire time. And so Banner was asleep basically that whole time.
Okay.
But after Ragnarok, when Thor brought Banner back, there was more of a partnership, I think, between Banner and Hulk. And so so he wasn't completely like muscled out. Okay. And then after Hulk got beat up so bad by Thanos, Hulk didn't want to have anything to do with coming out anymore.
Right. That's true. Yeah. Okay, I'll believe that.
So yeah.
We're back at number 1. It wasn't really a big holdup for me anyway, but it was just something I had thought of. We get a little bit of a Infinity Stone history refresh from Wong. It's pretty good. That's one of those things.
I love the storytelling in this thing. Yeah.
Well, and that's one of those things where I feel like that was put in for if you hadn't seen like the second Thor movie where they kind of covered the Infinity Stones a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, anything else where they talk about Infinity Stones. This is a nice little refresher, and it wasn't long and or boring to people who already knew about it.
Right. Well, because like Tony Stark had never heard of the Infinity Stones because he didn't know that the Tesseract had an Infinity Stone in it. Remember? Oh, so this is his first time hearing
scepter.
Yeah, the scepter. Yeah. So this is his first time hearing about the Infinity Stones. Period.
Yeah, maybe.
So that's why I thought it was like nice.
I could swear Thor said something about it maybe after Vision gets created, but I might be wrong.
Well, actually,
I forget.
Did they know it was the Soul Stone at the time?
I think Thor did, but I'm not sure. I will probably go back and check when I'm editing this, and I'll be like, Thor did say something about the.
Oh, it was in the scepter, right? The Soul Stone was from the scepter?
The Mind Stone is in the scepter.
The Mind Stone? Oh.
Yeah.
All right, souls, when you die.
I keep mixing them up too because like your soul and your mind are basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Unless you're uber religious.
Yeah.
Thor did say something about the Mind Stone in Avengers Age of Ultron. Take a listen.
I've had a vision. A whirlpool that sucks in all hope of life, and at its center is that.
What, the gem?
It's the Mind Stone. It's one of the 6 Infinity Stones, the greatest power in the universe, unparalleled in its destructive capabilities.
But I do love the refresher from Wong, because I also love Wong.
Yes. He wasn't in this enough, but anyways, Banner also gives some exposition about Thor's plan, but how did he know about Thanos' plan? How did he know Thanos' plan, though? I guess maybe he was...
Ebony Maw. Yapping the whole time.
Maybe there was probably a lot of talking going on that ship that they didn't bother to film for the movie. I think that the excuse that Doctor Strange and Wong give for not destroying the Time Stone is lame. There's like, we swore an oath not to. You can come up with something better?
I don't know, but I would also think that, like, how do you beat somebody that can control time? Like, regardless of how powerful you are, if like you're frozen, like even if you were the Hulk, if I just paused you in mid punch and then I like dug a hole underneath you and then unpaused you, let you fall down, paused you again and then covered you in cement until you were like you were in it and you came to, Yeah, how would you beat somebody that can do
You'd
that?
have to catch him off guard, right? You'd have to,
Right.
because
That's the only way.
right?
Right. And like on top of that, Doctor Strange has like all the mystic know-how and all those trinkets and stuff. So he'd be hard to catch off guard.
Yes, totally.
I get them being overconfident.
There's some talk about Vision because they're concerned because Vision obviously has the Mind Stone, and then they say that he's AWOL, and Tony thinks that Steve Rogers could probably find him, but they haven't talked in a while, right? Because of the events of Civil War. But I don't understand why he thinks Steve Rogers would know how to find Vision.
Because Vision likes Scarlet Witch and Scarlet Witch is with Team Cap.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess they were on the same side at least. No.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Scarlet Witch was, but Vision was on Tony's team.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's a little weird to me.
Vision was a robot in love.
Yeah. But I understand they're trying to move this movie along. It was just something that didn't quite add up for me.
Yeah. This whole time stone thing too, I really liked because Spider-Man is
Yes.
like the whole Spider-Man coming in. Like I loved it, especially when he was like, "It's like, oh my god, I need a distraction."
Yes.
And Ned's like, "Oh my god, we're all gonna die."
I was literally just about to talk about that. That's great. Yes.
And then, but like, did you see how like?
Wait, hold
how
on 1 second.
Yeah,
I want
yeah,
to talk
go,
about that
go.
more because I don't think I realized this time that so Peter tells Ned on the bus, Peter sees the spaceship, the Ebony Maw spaceship, right? And he's like, "Oh man, I need a distraction." Tells his friend Ned, I need a distraction. And I don't even think he's done saying that. And Ned sees the spaceship and he's like, "There's a spaceship, we're all going to die." Like, I think that's just his general reaction or genuine reaction. I mean,
I just thought it was him just being the best man in the chair. And
maybe it could be either one. Either one
Yeah.
works, right? But
Yeah.
just the way that he reacted, I was like, I think that's just how he is reacting to seeing this spaceship. But
Yeah.
he got right on it for sure.
I hope that guy gets royalties for being the best Ned.
Yes, yes. And then I think you were going to say the other thing about that scene.
Wait, what was-
You started saying something else about it, and then I interrupted you because I wasn't done talking about Ned.
I know what you're referring to. I was gonna actually skip over Stan Lee's cameo.
No, it wasn't that. But since we mentioned it, yeah, Stanley cameo as the bus driver. What's the matter with you kids? You never seen a spaceship before? That was pretty good. But no, I think you were going to talk about maybe the Spidey sense.
Oh no,
Oh,
but I
okay.
did think that was But I did think that was awesome.
Okay.
Just seeing.
Yes. So he has little hairs on his arms stand up, and he's like, something's up, and he looks and sees the spaceship, right? So that I took to be the Spidey sense. It's funny in the commentary. I'm sure that they were joking, but in the commentary they said that to get his arms to stand up, they just had somebody gently blow in Tom Holland's ear.
No way, really?
That's what they said, but I think they were joking. I
Okay.
think it was just a joke. I'm sure
It had to have been a joke.
they just had something staticky or whatever, or maybe even just CGI. I don't know.
Or maybe it was Zendaya that
Maybe,
blew into his
maybe.
ear. But no, I was actually going to point out that he's a 15-year-old in this movie, and when Cull Obsidian is beating the crap out of Tony Stark, and he's about to just basically smash Tony into the ground,
Mhm.
Spider-Man single-handedly held that big robot hammer and was like, "Hey, what's up, Mr. Stark?"
Yeah.
And like, this is one of the most powerful Avengers getting his ass handed to him because he's just nowhere near as strong as this Cull Obsidian guy. And then Spider-Man, this 15-year-old kid. To me, this is just again like how strong Spider-Man
Right.
is.
Well, I mean, we saw him
is
lift
just-
tons of rubble off of himself before.
Right.
So
He's gotten stronger since then.
yeah.
So is a thing. So it's just, to me, it's just kind of mind blowing. Like I wish that they would keep Tom Holland, but I get why they probably wouldn't. But if they keep having him grow into like an adult Spider-Man, it would be awesome to see them explore like how strong he really is.
Yeah.
So anyway,
No, that's good. I know you're a big Spidey guy. And we find out here Banner finds out that he can't turn into Hulk anymore. He's got some performance issues there.
dude, you're embarrassing me in front of the wizards. That cracked me up.
That's a great line. There's so much funny stuff just sprinkled throughout in these very serious scenes, and it just works.
Yeah. Oh, did you see? Remember we talked about this before? Did you see his glasses melt into his hand?
Oh yes. So actually, I wanted
nanotech?
I have this. You're like reading my notes here, man. Like,
wait, are these in your notes?
No. I mean, I have separate notes.
Okay. Yeah.
But things to talk about. Yeah, that's something I wanted to talk about was in general Tony's suit. We talked about it a little bit in the Black Panther episode, and you were saying that it's his clothes, and I don't think it's his clothes. I think it's like he pulls on the tracksuit thing, and they all tighten up. But I think it's all nanobots that go around the clothes, or like around
from his chest.
Yeah, around and over his clothes. I love your idea of it being clothes. That's a better idea. I don't know why they didn't do that. But I did see the glasses though go into like the arm of the suit.
His arm.
Yeah, that was cool.
I think that's why I thought it was his clothes too.
Yeah, you're definitely right on that.
I actually was like, did it really do that? And so I was really homing in to make sure that I wasn't wrong.
They should have made it more prominent, like, because that's a cool idea, and you can barely tell that it happens. So I think I can let go of the impossibility of the suit. You know, I've complained up until this point about, I don't really like the nano stuff, but it makes for such cool shit happening in this movie. I gotta let it go. It works.
There was I forget what movie it is where Tony Stark couldn't catch up to whatever it was he was chasing. But like here, when Tony Stark was trying to catch up to the spaceship because Peter was in it and so was Doctor Strange, did you see his suit actually modified itself so that he could have that extra power in like one solid booster?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I think it happens more in a little bit, but I feel like his suit is almost like being a Green Lantern, right? Although I think that's DC. Is Green Lantern DC?
That's DC.
Whatever, the same idea, right? Like whatever he can think of, his suit can more or less manifest for him.
Until he starts losing pieces of it.
Right. I mean, if he doesn't have enough of the suit or the suit at all, he's hosed. But yeah,
which I thought was so awesome. Well, I guess it's
that
later down. Yeah.
Yes, but that's part of what I mean by like I'm on board with the nano suit because of all the cool stuff that happens.
Yeah.
So I had one gripe when. Did I skip something? I skipped something. I don't have it. I don't know.
I want you to get to your gripe now.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll do the gripe, then I'll go back to I think I'll go back to the thing that I'm forgetting. But they, Tony and Spidey get on Ebony Maw's ship, right, and it's going out into space, and then Tony loses cell phone connection, basically, right?
Yeah.
And
he lost Friday too.
Yeah, but why exactly? That's my question. Why, or that's my gripe. Why does he has no on-suit AI? It's all just done over cellular and wireless. Like, why wouldn't he have?
Because Friday was controlling Friday was controlling that one satellite. So my thought was that Friday is remote and basically is communicating with his suit. Because that's how Spider-Man got his new suit, right? Like he was like, "Hey, unlock whatever package, whatever."
Yeah, that was cool.
And then it came. I thought, like, it smells like a new car in here.
Yeah,
like I totally love. There's so many like awesome things about this movie. But like that's why I was like, oh, so I guess it's not like Jarvis, where Jarvis was built into the suit, but Friday is completely remote because Friday's controlling. What was it called again? Betty,
Veronica.
Veronica, and now this, and I think Friday is also controlling in the next Spider-Man movie. What do you call it? The little robots, the drones. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean that's all fine, but why would he opt to not have the AI built into the suit? Surely there's like bridges and tunnels or something, situations in general he could see himself getting into where he would not have service, right? Wireless service.
You would also think that having AI on board would control the nanobots better.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
actually, I'm kind of curious how you control the nanobots if you don't have an AI in it. Oh, no, are we knocking this down from number one now?
But so the thing, I could have sworn I had it in here somewhere, but there's it's this part, right, where Ebony Maw tries to grab the time stone, or try to grab the whole Eye of Agamotto off of Doctor Strange, right? And he like
Yeah.
burns his hand. That's like an homage to Raiders of the Lost Ark, where
Oh, was it?
yeah, what's the guy's name? Like Toht, Toht, I think is the guy, the creepy bald Nazi guy tries to grab the medallion from the Staff of Ra that's in the fire. I like that. I like that little homage there.
This might like make you think less of me, but I haven't watched any of the indie films.
You didn't even watch Raiders of the Lost Ark?
I've seen clips
Okay.
of like, the face melting and stuff.
We'll cover that one someday. And just that one though, because the third one is okay, but it's,
Yeah.
and the other ones are, I didn't even watch, I tried to watch Dial of Destiny and I got like 10 minutes into it and I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. So,
Yeah.
Oh, here, I found my notes on that, on the Raiders thing. Yeah. Anyways, so aboard his ship, Ebony Maw tortures Doctor Strange in an attempt to get him to release the spell he put on the Eye of Agamotto, which is preventing the Time Stone from being taken. With a little help from the Cloak of Levitation, Iron Man and Spider-Man rescue Strange and eject Maw out into the vacuum of space. Tony convinces Strange to go to Thanos rather than return to Earth and wait for Thanos to attack there, as he would not be expecting that.
I love the other movie references.
Yes. You ever see this really old movie called Alien?
Yeah. And like always good ideas.
Yeah. And then after they get rid of Maw, Strange and Peter are introduced to one another. I think Peter's like, hey, I'm Peter Parker. And Dr. Strange says, I'm Dr. Strange. And he's like,
Right.
Peter's like, oh, we're using our made up names. I'm Spider-Man.
It's so good. So I have a gripe that I thought you would have picked up.
Okay.
You know how, well, actually, no, maybe I just figured out why. When Heimdall sent the Hulk to Earth,
Mm-hmm.
he basically did instantaneous travel with the Rainbow Bridge, right? How the heck did Black Maw and Cull Obsidian get there so fast in their spaceship?
That is a good point. I mean, I guess there's a little bit of, it's not clear how much time has passed. It's also not clear how quickly those ships can travel. Also, Thanos does have the Space Stone, yeah.
I just, like, right when I said that, I was like, oh, wait.
So he could Space Stone the ship into a low Earth orbit, and then...
Yep.
My gripe here is, why is Ebony Maw's ship going to Titan?
Oh, because he had Doctor Strange in it.
Yeah, but like, why is everybody meeting up at Titan? Like, why is that the meeting place? I don't know. I just thought that was weird.
I don't know. Oh, because Thanos was going off to get the Soul Stone, and he was like, "You guys go do like, there's 4 of you. I'm gonna get the Soul Stone. Between 4 of you, you should be able to get 2 stones."
Right.
But
again, it was like, I'm like, let's just meet at the Starbucks around the corner. Like, I don't understand why they're going to. Why is it got to be Titan? Why does it have to be Titan? I mean, I know that's Thanos' home planet, but
I was like, maybe the place where it began.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe
that was where the idea came to him, right?
Yeah. Anyways, on Thanos' ship, one of his goons is putting Nebula back together after she's been pulled apart to torture her and try to get Gamora to tell Thanos where the Mind Stone is. Not the Mind Stone, the Soul Stone. I'm gonna keep messing that up. Nebula kills that guy and sends a message to Mantis to meet on Titan, and then she escapes and goes to Titan. Everybody's going to Titan. Maw's ship does land on Titan, where Iron Man, Spider-Man, and Doctor Strange are met by Star-Lord, Drax, and Mantis. They devise a plan to deal with Thanos when he arrives. Doctor Strange takes a peek into the future and determines that there's only one possible outcome out of millions where they win. So a lot going on here too. I like it when Peter Parker sees Mantis. He sees like her antenna. He's like,
please don't put your eggs in me.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
And the infamous "Why Gamora?"
What's that?
Where's Gamora?
Oh yeah,
I'll do you one better. What's Gamora?
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
Gamora?
Yeah, that's right. Why Gamora? forgot
damn
about
it.
that. Yeah. No, the whole scene where the Guardians and the Avengers don't know who's on what side. They just basically all think that the other team is with Thanos, right? It's pretty funny before they realize that they're all going up against Thanos. There's so many funny lines.
Oh, yeah? You don't want to tell me where she is? That's fine. I'll kill all 3 of you and I'll beat it out of Thanos myself. Starting with you.
Wait, what? Thanos? All right, let me ask you this one time. What master do you serve?
What master do I serve? What am I supposed to say, Jesus?
You're from Earth.
I'm not from Earth, I'm from Missouri.
Yeah, that's on Earth, dipshit. What are you hassling us for?
I mean, Quill being Quill is just fucking funny. Like the whole like, well, that 50% me is 100% you.
Yes, that's great.
Like this, he just has so many lines like that crack me up.
Oh, and then they're like, you know Thor? It's like, yeah, tall guy, not that good looking, needed saving. That's a good one. Did you have anything else on that part? I was gonna move on.
No, I think I think I'm good. I think it's Nebula tried to go to kill Thanos and completely botched it. And I don't even know if she stood a chance anyway, because I think I'm curious if she had it when.
I think she's not thinking clearly.
Yeah. Well, I think she was just mad. I think she finally, in the last Guardians, really connected with her sister, and she was like, I'm just gonna cut out the problem, which is Daddy.
Right. So then Thanos arrives on Titan, and everyone there fights him, trying to take the Infinity Gauntlet from him. But ultimately, Thanos is able to obtain the Time Stone. So,
because Doctor Strange gave it to him.
Yes, yeah, that's an interesting detail there. But there's another detail here about Thanos' plan when he's talking to Stephen Strange. Because when he first shows up, it's only Strange there; everybody else is in hiding. He says that the decimation is random, and it always has been. Basically, like they show on that in the scene where he's on Gamora's planet, and they line people up on either side. And I just had a thought. I was going to say, I don't know if he flipped the coin or what, but I wonder if it was when he has her playing with the little, with the balanced blade.
Oh.
I wonder if something that she did that, like, he was like, okay, it must be, like, it's going to be this side, not this side. Which, that's pretty dark. I never thought of that before.
that would mess a kid up.
Yeah.
She killed half her people.
Right. But the whole thing is random. And then he says that also with the time stones, it would be merciful. Which he's also correct, right? I do think
because it was instantaneous.
Yeah, exactly. I do think it's interesting that he does not end up being one of the life forms that gets randomly wiped out. I mean, he has a 50-50 chance, right? But I wonder if he had taken that into consideration that he might be one to go and was just okay with it. He should have been, if based on his character. But
yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I think maybe he was okay with it because somebody had to wield the gauntlet to actually kick it off.
And I guess for all he knows, wielding that much power might kill him anyway, right?
Yeah. I mean, it did, right? It ruined his arm.
Yeah.
Or it
messed his arm up, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I also thought it's interesting that he says when it's done, he will watch the sunrise on a grateful universe, and that's how the movie ends. They have him sitting there watching the sunrise. So he called his shot there.
Yep.
I like the fight when everybody's trying to get the gauntlet off of him. There's some pretty good tag teaming going on, especially with Spider-Man and Doctor Strange.
So, where do you fall? Did you think Peter Quill was just such an absolute dumbass for punching him in the face and waking him up? Because they had him on the ropes.
I mean, I feel like people are still mad at him for that.
Yeah. I mean, but why not? Like, they almost had the glove off.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a believable moment. I understand why he reacts that way. And in a way, I think it's kind of a great moment, too. It starts with Mantis is trying to put him to sleep, right? And then she's like, he feels great sorrow. And then Nebula's like, oh, wait, where's Gamora? And then she kind of puts it together that Thanos has the Soul Stone now.
Yep.
Nobody knows about the soul for a soul thing, but that there's a lack of a Gamora with him. Kinda, I think that's enough to let her figure it out.
It was when Nebula was like, he left with Gamora, he's back without her.
Right, exactly. Right.
And then they were like, oh, why is he in pain? Or why is he in anguish?
So I thought that was really interesting the way that they tackled essentially Peter finding out that Gamora must be dead. Okay. And then I don't think it's a reasonable way for him to have reacted, but I think it's understandable why he reacted that way.
Okay. I think also even though Peter is a dumbass, he's a dumbass that has a very super strong attachment to the 5 other Guardians, or to the rest of the Guardians, especially her. He loves her.
Yeah.
So I think part of me is at first, when I first watched it, I was like, this guy is a fucking idiot.
Yes.
And then like when I
so mad at
rewatched
him.
all the Guardians movie, yeah.
But I've come around.
Yeah.
It works
but
out
when
in
you
the
watch,
end. It works out in the end, more or less.
Yeah, but when you watch the other Guardians movies, you're realizing like, no, this guy loves the rest of the other Guardians of the Galaxies and stuff, especially her. And so him being just very emotional and very just driven by his heart, it makes sense in the grand scheme of all of it.
Did you see? There's a part where Doctor Strange, where everybody's fighting Thanos, right? But Doctor Strange has like these red bands, these glowing red bands. Yeah. Apparently, that's the Crimson Bands of Sidorak, which is a thing from the comics. Did you catch that at all? I only knew that from the commentary.
I did, except the only thing that I knew about Sidorak was that the gem from Sidorak is actually is what powers Juggernaut.
Oh,
it makes Juggernaut so strong. But yeah, no, I was sort of confused why. I mean, I guess he had the Reality Stone, so he was already overpowered. Because like, didn't Doctor Strange try to put him inside of the wasn't it the mirror dimension?
Yes, and
then he broke it.
Just about to call you out on that because in the Thor Ragnarok episode, if anybody wants to go back and check, it's around the 25 minute mark. You said Doctor Strange is underutilized, and you talked about how he was able to manhandle Thor, so he should have been able to go up against Thanos. And he went ballistic on Thanos. He totally held his own against him. And then, and you had said, why didn't he just put Thanos in the mirror dimension? And he totally tries to here, but Thanos shatters it with the Power Stone.
I thought it was the Reality Stone. Or
no, he used the Power Stone to shatter that. So here's the other thing. There's a part with the where Strange he does like this weird thing with his arms, and he gets all these extra all these extra arms and hands, and then he splits into 20 different Doctor Stranges, right?
Yeah.
And then Thanos does a thing where he uses the Soul Stone, and he uses the Soul Stone to figure out which one is the real Doctor Strange.
Right.
And that was not at all obvious to me. I had to look that up because I was like, what does the Soul Stone even do? And so that clued me in there. But it's I think it's right next to the Reality Stone, so it's hard to tell which one he's using.
Yeah. It glows too, right? When he's using a particular one.
Yeah. And as a matter of fact, the same place where I saw the thing where it said they used the Soul Stone to find out which is the right Doctor Strange, the same little article said that he used the Soul Stone to turn a bunch of I forget the word they used, but basically a bunch of ship debris into flying bats against Tony. But I was like, that seems more like a Reality Stone thing. And then I looked closely, and it was the Reality Stone that he used there. So that article was wrong on that, but I did double check on the Soul Stone thing, and it was correct.
Yeah, I was like, that doesn't sound like a Soul Stone power.
And I went through a lot of trouble. There's no place to comment, nothing where you could contact the people. It's basically a wiki, like a Marvel wiki thing. And so then I created an account because you can't edit if you don't have an account, and then it won't let me edit because I'm new, and I'm just like, forget it.
You can call them out here.
I'm gonna try to forget it anyway.
Okay.
What else here? Oh, I had a long-standing gripe that I was just actually wrong about. My recollection was that at one point Thanos uses the Power Stone to throw a moon at Tony, which I thought was way over the top. But it's actually, he just uses it to blast a bunch of chunks off of it, and he throws those chunks at him.
Yeah,
it's not the entire moon. So I was
because Tony was like, "You throw a moon at me, you better not
right."
miss.
I think that's what I was remembering was his line about that. Yeah,
but he didn't actually throw a moon. He just threw chunks.
Tony was
one.
being hyperbolic.
Yeah,
and this is the part where I'm 100% on board with the nanosuit. As Thanos is destroying the suit, it's rearranging itself to protect Tony's more vulnerable parts. Oh, and I don't know about you, but the first time I saw this, I thought Tony was going to die in this movie right here when he gets
so did I.
He gets stabbed through with his own nanosuit sword. Thanos just kind of gently, but he's got a big hand, right? He grabs Tony's head And he's like, "You have my respect, Stark." And I always expect him to say, "You've managed to put a smile on my face," but that's the end of The Crow, right? With Michael Wincott talking to Brandon Lee. For whatever reason, that it has kind of the same energy there.
Oh, it totally does. Oh, I love that. I love that movie too.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
I have to come up with a way to cover that one. That just turned 30, right? Yeah.
God, has it been 30 years? Jeez.
Yeah, 1994.
I read that the director was making fun of how shitty the new remake was.
Yeah,
Alexander Proyas.
I don't think I can even hate watch that. I don't have time for it. So yeah, as you were saying before, Doctor Strange gives Thanos the Time Stone in exchange for sparing Tony's life here. And, I just had to have faith that that was the one way that he saw, that this is the way it had to happen. I also thought it was really cool the way when he reveals where the stone was hiding, he just like holds his hand up and it looks like there's just a star and it just kind of gets a little bit bigger and bigger. And then it's the stone. That was really cool. I like that a lot. Oh, something else I completely misremembered. As soon as Thanos gets the Time Stone and then pieces out, Quill goes, "Did we just lose?" And I had in my mind that was a line that Captain America said at the very end after Thanos snaps and then disappears there.
Oh.
So that was weird. I was really off on that one.
Yeah, it's like, no, that was Peter.
Yeah.
That's got to be hard too. Well, I mean, they could have sling ringed all the way back to Earth, right?
Yeah.
Like
I feel
after
like
he
that,
left.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that they didn't.
He didn't have his sling ring. I thought about that the other day, and I came up with a reason why they didn't do it.
He's supposed to have it all the time.
Well, I mean, he does get. He is part of the decimation, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they didn't think to get out of there before it was too late, because it's not long after that the snap occurs. It's going to be a while till we get to it talking about it, but in terms of the movie time. So I don't know. Yeah. They should have, I guess that was, I know what I was thinking about the other day. I was like, they were talking about, staying on the ship or going back to Earth. And I was like, yeah, they could have just sling ringed back to Earth.
Right.
But I guess they wanted to fight Thanos.
Right. Well, because that's what Tony was saying, was like, I'm going to take it to him.
Right.
Let's take the fight to it, right? Yeah.
Anyways, so then, so that whole part ends with Doctor Strange saying, "We're in the end game now." Dropping some hints.
Dun, dun, dun.
So now, moving on to the Soul Stone. So we got to back up a bit in the movie here. Chronologically, this comes right after the Reality Stone part. So aboard Thanos' ship, he speaks to Gamora, further explaining his plan and his reasons for it. The universe has finite resources, basically what it boils down to. Thanos then reveals that he's aware that Gamora knows the location of the Soul Stone, and Thanos has been torturing Nebula for information, and then he further tortures her to get Gamora to tell him where the Soul Stone is.
Right.
So I really like this reasoning. Sorry if I said this earlier, I'm pretty sure I did, but I really like this reasoning for Thanos, that it's about fixing a major overpopulation problem. It's not a power grab thing. It's a much more understandable idea. In the comics, doesn't he basically do it for a girl? Right?
Oh, he does it so he can
impress Death or something.
Death, yeah.
Isn't Death a girl in the comics?
Yeah,
okay.
The personification
Sorry,
of
woman.
Death is, yeah. Yes.
So this is like a much better reason for me. It's more believable. I can get behind it.
Yeah, it'd be hard to sell like, oh, I'm doing this for Death, because in the comic books he does have like a ridiculous fascination, and he's just in love with Death in the comic books.
He's got a very specific kink.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I buy it. He's a very rational seeming bloodthirsty dude. No, he's not even bloodthirsty. He just wants to do whatever.
He just wants to
do whatever
fix
it takes.
The problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the commentary, they said that people have made the comment that, why didn't he just double the amount of resources in the universe rather than half the population? I had never even thought about that, but then they were talking about that, and one of them said something about free will, which didn't quite add up to me. But then someone else said, well, there would just be the same problem millions of years later. Right. So, okay, sure. But also, it's the same. You're still going to have the same problem with this, cutting the population in half, right? Eventually, the population is going to build again, right? So I think it comes down to two things. Well, one, there's not enough space to double all the resources, so that's out, right? And two, if he were to do that, there's no lesson learned, right? So it's just like, oh, well, some magical savior is going to just bail us out anytime we get in trouble. So
it's like freeways, right? Look at LA. 8-lane freeways doesn't
fix it. Yeah, more lanes doesn't fix the problem. That's a good analogy. This part where Gamora's trying to tell Thanos that she doesn't know never found out where the Soul Stone was, right? It was a dead end or something, she says.
I'm sorry I disappointed you.
I am disappointed. But not because you didn't find it. But because you did. And you lied.
And that's
the
an
way
awesome
he said
line.
it.
What's that?
The way he said it was awesome.
Oh, totally.
I love Josh Brolin as I feel really bad for the original actor that was in Avengers, the first Avengers.
Yeah, he just turned around. I don't even think he had a line. I forget.
He just kind of smiled.
Yeah. Yes.
But I mean, Josh Brolin's awesome as Thanos, and the way he says everything is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when he says that he's disappointed, I'm like, oh, that hurts. I would rather him be mad, right?
Right. Because and just the way he said you lied.
Yeah. And the thing with him torturing Nebula to get Gamora to tell him where the Soul Stone is, I don't think that would have worked if they didn't have that relationship building that we saw in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Yeah.
So I think that was pretty important.
Yeah, because even Nebula kills herself in Endgame to save Gamora. Yeah, she shot herself in the chest. Because that Nebula
but not like her
self,
her a different variant. Okay, I was like, I don't remember.
Yeah, a variant. Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha. So Thanos takes Gamora to Vormir to acquire the Soul Stone, where they are met by Red Skull. The price of the stone is to sacrifice what you love, a soul for a soul. I'm getting goosebumps just saying that.
Yeah.
Thanos throws Gamora to her death and is given the Soul Stone in exchange. Jesus Christ, this is a tough loss for me. I really like Gamora. This whole scene is so well done. When Red Skull tells Thanos the cost, and Gamora laughs at Thanos because she thinks he's upset that he can't get the stone. She thinks he doesn't love anything, and she's like, "Really? Tears?" And then Red Skull's like, "They're not for him." And she realizes that he's crying because he loves her and he's willing to sacrifice her for the stone. Like, dude, I am just covered in goosebumps right now just talking about it.
Well, because she was like, "You've never known anything that you've loved this whole time," and then she just didn't know.
It's so good.
It never dawned on her that he actually does love her. Yeah, it was pretty heartbreaking.
That's a hell of a scene.
Yeah.
Random
question.
Yeah.
Who were you more broken up by? Gamora's death or Black Widow's death?
That's a good question. I feel like...
Or should we talk about that in Endgame?
Yeah, I'll talk about that in a minute. I did want to say one more thing here. Before he grabs her and throws her off the cliff, she tries to kill herself so that he can't do it to get the Soul Stone. Like, man, that is... I don't even know what. That's crazy.
She was trying to use the knife that he gave her as a kid too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but to answer your question, I think I have a stronger, like, goosebump chill reaction from this scene, this whole section, versus the Black Widow death in Endgame. But I think I was actually upset about the Black Widow death. It was a little bit more like tears than goosebumps.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I still don't know how to answer that. I feel like this is a better scene, but they're both really pretty tough.
Well, because Clint and Natasha loved each other, like siblings love.
Yeah,
but Natasha knew that he had a family, but the Avengers were her family.
Yeah, and I would probably repeat this when we get to that. But the first time that I saw that scene, I was like, whatever. Like, we can get rid of one of them. Who cares? Whatever. And then that movie I saw 4 times in the theater. And like by the 4th time, I was like ready to cry when that scene starts. So anyways.
Okay. Oh, we'll see again we can ask the question again when we actually do Endgame.
Yes. Apologies for the repeats, listeners. When Thanos wakes up after that and he's got the Soul Stone in his hand and it kind of looks like he's floating in space.
Yeah.
Right. That's really cool. And then like the camera pans up and tilts back and it's just a reflection. He's laying in some water. I thought that was really cool. They reused that in Endgame, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. Because who was it in who did what's his face? Because it was Clint, right?
Yeah,
Clint,
yeah. It happened. Clint wakes up in the puddle in Endgame. I was bummed that they didn't get Hugo Weaving back to play Red Skull.
I was about to say that. Did you notice that he was? That
when I watched it the first time, I did not know it was not him. And I don't.
That voice was hella close.
It's so good. That guy, Ross Marquand. His impression is spot on. And if you Google Ross Marquand micro impressions, he's got a bunch of pretty funny ones.
Yeah, I was really bummed it wasn't Hugo Weaving.
Yeah. I think he just didn't want to do it. I think he thought it was silly. I wonder if he regrets that.
Well, the makeup is also a lot too.
Yeah.
For the Red Skull.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Was he even wasn't it just a voice? I feel like he was completely CGI. Maybe not.
It looked like he was CGI because he wasn't walking around. Yeah. Yeah, because he was just floating there.
Yeah.
Also, not to belabor how strong Thanos is, but Gamora is no slouch. And he was ragdolling, pulling her. She was pulling with all her might to not get thrown over the edge. Yeah. And he was just kind of looked like a little kid. Yeah. He was just pulling her along and then he just tossed her.
That's rough. It's a rough scene. So this is the part where I started thinking about though, like what are the powers of the Soul Stone? I looked into it a little bit. So this one and the Mind Stone are barely used in this movie other than the snap. The Mind Stone, I think, is only used in the snap in this movie. And then we talked about on Titan, when he was fighting Doctor Strange, he uses the Soul Stone to identify which is the real Doctor Strange. And I guess it contains this pocket dimension, which is where he goes at the end and he sees baby Gamora or little kid Gamora, right? I guess that's called
the Soul Stone or
the Soul Stone.
Yeah.
Onto the Mind Stone now. So backing up to just after Thor and the Guardians of the Galaxy team.
Did you notice that like all of these, each stone has like a kick-ass scene that accompanies it?
Well, I think that's why they didn't bother with the Power Stone. I think they just couldn't come up with a 6th awesome scene, right? Yeah. But, totally forgivable. So Thor and the Guardians of the Galaxy team meet up in space, right? They run into Thor. That's just right after that part. So we go to Vision and Scarlet Witch having, I guess, a romantic getaway at an Airbnb in Edinburgh, Austria. There they are attacked by Thanos' lackeys, Proxima Midnight and Corvus Glaive, who are after the Mind Stone in Vision's head. Vision and Scarlet Witch hold them off for a while before Captain America, Black Widow, and Falcon show up to chase the 2 lackeys off. I would have bet money that this was the second scene in the movie before I watched this more recently. I thought it came much, much earlier.
Yeah.
And certainly it doesn't come this late, because of the way that we're recording this, but it's
right.
Later
it's
in the
right after. It's right after the Ebony Maw in New York scene, right?
It's right after Guardians of the Galaxy get Thor.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So during the fighting with, between Vision and I think it was Corvus Glaive, he gets stabbed through with something that stops him from phasing. He says his systems are failing and his whole body is doing this kind of ripply glitch, like almost like static. I thought that was a really cool effect. They do something like that in Terminator 2 with the T-1000, like near the end after he's taking a bunch of damage. There's like, you're looking closely, there's like, 8 frames where you just see like a little ripple go up. I thought it was really cool.
Another really awesome movie.
Yeah. We see Captain America sporting a new look. He's got longer hair and a beard. I think it looks good.
But it's still his same suit, just dirty.
Yes. I like it, though. It looks good. Looks better dirty.
I like it there, yeah.
How did Cap know where to find Vision?
Oh, because he knows where Scarlet Witch is.
How does he know where Scarlet Witch is?
Because they know where they were supposed to keep tabs on her.
Okay.
They didn't know. I think they knew that Scarlet Witch and Vision were hooking up.
So, all right. So Vision went AWOL from Tony, basically, but Scarlet Witch was keeping in touch with Cap.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So they knew roughly where they were. And then when Bruce called Tony at the end of the fight. By the way, we forgot the whole Wong, you're invited to my wedding.
Oh yeah. There's so much I cannot tell you how much stuff I had to cut out. Because I can't do a 4-hour podcast on this.
it would be worth it. But it's so much. But yeah, it was right after that Bruce calls Steve. And man, that's the best entrance out of all of them. It was such a cool entrance of the train, and then it's Steve coming out of the shadow, and it's just it's Captain America. Your Captain America doesn't come out of the shadows. He's like the light, right? But he's after Civil War, he's in hiding, and they're coming out of hiding, and it was such a badass way to just bring him back.
I agree. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. At the Avengers compound, Rhodey is there dealing with General Ross on a hologram call. Captain America, Black Widow, Scarlet Witch, Falcon, and Vision arrive, and Rhodey hangs up on Ross, refusing Ross's order to arrest them all. Together with Bruce Banner, they discuss next steps. Vision suggests that Scarlet Witch may be able to destroy the Mind Stone, and Bruce suggests that it might be possible to remove the stone first, leaving behind much of what comprises the Vision. There's a little mention here that Ant-Man and Hawkeye took house arrest deals. So that's why they're not in the movie. I guess, you can only write for so many characters. 2 more would have been that much more difficult, I suppose.
Right. I mean, they show up in Endgame.
Yes. They're critical to Endgame.
Yeah.
I guess since Tony is off-world, that's why they decide to go to Shuri to try to remove the stone from Vision's head.
Yes.
So,
also, I don't think Tony knows about the Wakandans. Right?
No, but I figured if Tony was there, since he made Vision, he would have been the one who would been I can figure out how to get the stone out.
Oh yeah.
So because
I just realized that's probably maybe it wouldn't have helped if they sling ring back to Earth, because Doctor Strange doesn't know anything about the Wakandans, and Tony doesn't know about the Wakandans, right?
Right, but I guess what I'm saying is I'm not saying that the Wakandans aren't important to the movie. They're critical. Yeah. I'm just saying that I don't think they would have even thought to go to Wakanda if it weren't for Tony not being there. Because, where are you gonna find a, crazy genius? You got to go to see Shuri now. So they go to Wakanda, where we see T'Challa give Bucky a new cyber arm, because recall that Bucky was there in frozen, what do you call that? In hypersleep, essentially.
It's like carbonite.
That's exactly where my brain went too. From the end of Civil War. So Bucky's new vibranium arm looks pretty rad. I like that a lot. And do you remember when we talked about this at the end of Civil War? We were wondering if his arm sounds different here because it's made out of vibranium now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I never heard it one time, so might have to wait for the next movie.
In Civil War and Winter Soldier was making that like that metallic whirring sound, right?
I didn't really hear it in this one, so I guess maybe it's super quiet. So it does sound different. So I do need to jump around here just a bit. Going back to Thor's story, Thor, Rocket, and Groot approach Nidavellir, which is a forge that harnesses the power of a neutron star, and it's the place where Mjolnir was made. After Rocket gives Thor a little pep talk, he also gives him a replacement eye, and upon arriving at Nidavellir, the team finds that the forge is shut down. Without Asgard to protect the dwarves that run the forge, Thanos killed all of them but one named Eitri, which is played by Peter Dinklage. Eitri needs Thor's help to make the powerful weapon called Stormbreaker, which is an axe for a king capable of summoning the Bifrost. Rocket helps to get the forge rings aligned, and Thor holds the iris open long enough for Eitri to heat the required metal. So what do you think about this part?
I just keep laughing at that's what dying means.
Oh, fathers, give me strength.
You understand, boy? You're about to take the full force of a star. It'll kill you.
Only if I die?
Yes. That's what killing you means.
Right.
His delivery was pretty perfect there.
I do think Chris Hemsworth has just dead on like comedic chops with the way he delivers his lines.
Totally.
He's so great. I thought this was an awesome. I'm glad Peter Dinklage is in here. The last time Peter Dinklage was in a Marvel movie, he was that really annoying
Trask.
Doctor. Yeah, in the X-Men
Days of Future
series.
Past.
Yeah,
I find him
like,
annoying. He was a bad guy, so
yeah. I just thought he's such a good actor that I just didn't really like the X-Men movies outside of First Class.
I thought Days of Future Past was phenomenal.
Oh, did you?
I love that one. Yeah, I didn't like First Class.
Are we doing X-Men movies, or are we going to stay away from?
I don't know, maybe. I like the little detail where Thor says that he took Groot language lessons as an elective in Asgard. That was funny. And I hadn't caught that before, I don't think. You were saying that Chris Hemsworth's comedic timing or comedic chops are really great. Just in general, his acting here is so good. He's talking to Rocket about loss. You can tell he's getting a little misty-eyed.
So dead brother, huh? Yeah, it could be annoying.
Well, he's been dead before. You know, this time I think it really might be true.
And you said your sister and your dad
Both dead.
but still got a mom, though?
Killed by a dark elf.
The best friend?
Stabbed through the heart.
You sure you're up to this particular murder mission?
Absolutely. Rage and vengeance, anger, loss, regret, they're all tremendous motivators. They really clear the mind, so I'm good to go.
Yeah, but, I mean, this Thanos we're talking about, he's the toughest there is.
Well, he's never fought me.
Yeah, he has.
He's never fought me twice. And I'm getting a new hammer, don't forget.
Well, it better be some hammer.
You know, I'm 1,500 years old. I've killed twice as many enemies as that, and every one of them would have rather killed me, but none succeeded. I'm only alive because fate wants me alive. Thanos is just the latest in a long line of bastards, and he'll be the latest to feel my vengeance. Fate wills it so.
Mm-hmm. And what if you're wrong?
Well, if I'm wrong, then what more could I lose?
Well, I could lose a lot. Me personally, I could lose a lot.
There's so many good lines in this movie.
With the eyeball, Rocket gives him the eyeball.
Yeah.
He puts it in. He's like, I would have washed that first.
Yeah. I wish that he hadn't gotten that eyeball. I actually hated that part. The story was funny about how he won a bet and then he didn't actually, that the eyeball wasn't part of it.
Right. But you just didn't want Thor to get his eyeball back?
He was doing
cool.
really great with the eye patch.
Yeah, it looked cool. I don't disagree, but I'm not bothered by him getting an eye back.
Yeah. He also looks a lot like Odin with the eye patch.
Yes.
Which is why I liked it.
Yeah. I mean, that part made a lot of sense, actually. I like the detail about that Eitri made the gauntlet for Thanos. He did it to spare the lives of the other dwarves, but then Thanos killed them all anyway.
Yeah.
And then encased Eitri's hands in metal. Although that part there just sounds cruel, and it seems unlike everything else Thanos has done.
Because Thanos was like, these are my hands now, and I don't want you making weapons for anybody else. Was his point.
So he is
right?
a little bit mad. The Mad Titan, right?
Yeah. I took it as him just hedging it, just making sure Ichi doesn't help anybody else.
Right.
And somebody that like could be Thor.
They should have just killed him then.
He should have, but he promised him he would let him live.
I guess he didn't want to break a promise.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he did though. He killed the other dwarves.
That's true. Oh, I was wondering what the metal is that Stormbreaker is made out of, and I didn't find anything within the MCU about it, but I guess in the comics it's made out of Uru. U-R-U. Yeah,
I just assumed it was the same. It was the same thing as Mjolnir.
I didn't know what Mjolnir was made out of.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Mjolnir's made out of Uru as well.
Okay.
Did you see there was an interview with, what's the name of that physicist?
Neil deGrasse Tyson? Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Yeah, and how he actually calculated how heavy Mjolnir had to be if it really was forged in the heart of a dying star.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I forget what it is. You should do a search on it. It's on YouTube.
Okay.
But he was like, "Oh, I know the gravitational element, like the gravitational strength of, to be in the center of a dying star." He's like, "I should be able to extrapolate how much Mjolnir weighs from that." And it was some crazy number in like the millions of tons. And so he was like, "That's why the Hulk couldn't lift it up." Though that's not true, because the Hulk
Well, the
actually...
other thing is, like, it wasn't forged in the center of a dying star. The forge is powered by a dying star.
Right.
It's not the same thing. Anyways, it's not the first time I heard Neil deGrasse Tyson misunderstand a question. But I like him for the most part. But when he's wrong about something, he's really annoying. Or I guess when I think he's wrong about something, I don't want to make
he's not
claims
wrong about Terrence Howard.
Oh, that's correct. Correct. So anyways, I love it when the head of the axe is molded and Ichi's like, "Where's the handle?" And Groot just like grows his arm longer and grabs, like, kind of ties it together and then like cuts his own arm off to make the handle. That was pretty sweet. I mean, that's Groot's entire arc in this movie. That's what he was there for.
That was pretty cool. I liked how he was near death, and then Stormbreaker came.
Yeah, it was like in the first Thor movie when he got wrecked by the destroyer, and then he's worthy again, and he could summon Mjolnir, and then it brings him back to strength.
Yep,
pretty cool.
But Stormbreaker does not have the spell that only people who are worthy can wield it.
That's right. Not yet, anyway. Captain America, Bruce Banner, Falcon, Rhodey, Scarlet Witch, Black Widow, and Vision all arrive in Wakanda. Shuri devises a plan to extract the Mind Stone from Vision's head, but it will take time. They don't have a lot of time, though. Thanos' army arrives. It's pretty much all-out war, and the good guys need to buy as much time as possible to remove the Soul Stone. Then with Stormbreaker, Thor uses the Bifrost to transport himself along with Rocket and Groot to enter the fight in Wakanda. What did I have here? I like it when they all show up in Wakanda and Bruce is talking to Rhodey and he's like, "So are we supposed to bow?" And Rhodey's like, "Oh yeah, they do that thing here." And he's the only one who bows. It's pretty good.
He's like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. We have the line, the "Get this man a shield" line. And he gets 2 shields. I don't love those shields, but
I actually hated them.
They'll do here.
Yeah. They're just like pointy things, tiny. Like there's spades attached to his arm.
Yeah, they're a little weird. I feel like you'd have to hold them up next to one another to make good use of them.
Yeah, I thought that they would just do more.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Shuri made those little panther heads that shot those sonic blasts.
Sonic whatever.
Yeah. Like why couldn't Captain have like something cool like that?
I still think it would have made more sense to just destroy the stone in Vision's head, or just yank it out first and then destroy it. But this definitely makes for a cooler movie, so I'll give that a pass for sure.
But that's not the Cap way, right?
No, they don't leave no man behind.
Yes.
Banner gets in the Hulkbuster suit. That's a pretty good scene, and then he like wipes out in it almost immediately, and Okoye gives another great look. Yes. She's pretty much had it with white boys.
I love how Okoye is just like, God damn, these people are just klutzy.
She's great.
Yeah.
She's great. So Rhodey's got his Iron Patriot suit. Is this still the same one from Iron Man 2?
Yes. Yeah.
Like
It's not an upgraded one.
Yeah, like why not? Like give this dude an upgrade. Plus that one, you know when he fell out of the sky in Civil War and hit the ground, you know he shit himself in that thing. Right? That's not coming out. I like how I can't think of their names. Is it Cull Obsidian and Proxima Midnight? They just basically command all whatever these alien things are.
I thought that they were the Chitauri again. They're not?
It might be.
Yeah.
But they're just like sheer numbers just running into the shields around Wakanda, just overwhelming the shields, and like literal pieces of them are making it through. Like,
right.
That was pretty awesome.
Well, that's what Proxima Midnight meant, right? We have numbers.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Or we have numbers, or we have blood. We have blood to spare.
Something
She
like
said
that.
something. Yeah. Because they were like, oh, they weren't letting on that the other guy was alive. Like they just talked about him like he was dead.
Oh, right. He was still alive?
Yeah.
Corvus Glaive?
Because he was sneaking in. Remember he ambushed because he ambushed Shuri. I like the scene when those big pyramid things that detached from the ship, when one tried to like land right on Wakanda and it just blew up.
Yeah.
And Bucky was like, I love this place.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome when Cap and Black Panther are like leading the charge, and they're both way out in front of everybody else, but they're pretty evenly matched.
But they started in the middle or something too.
Yeah.
And then they just outran everybody.
Yeah. That was a great little detail that they were both super fast. This is another part that I misremembered. I could have sworn that Thor didn't show up until right before he like takes a whack at Thanos at the end.
Oh no,
But he shows up and fights for a while.
Yeah. I think that's one my biggest problem with this scene is like, what the hell was he doing?
Not much, apparently. Not enough.
Like not paying attention to where all the fighting was going. And I guess maybe they didn't give him a headset so he didn't get the memo that Thanos was there.
I guess.
Because everybody else fought Thanos until like he came in at the very, very last minute.
I think that's why I thought that he didn't show up at all until then. But
yeah.
So him and Rocket and Groot just left a tree behind?
Yeah.
Like, what's that guy going to do?
Peace out, man. Well, he can't entertain himself. He can't have a smashgasm.
No. Smasturbate.
He can't smasturbate. That's right. That's what it's called.
The fight continues in Wakanda while efforts to safely remove the Mind Stone from Vision's head do as well. Scarlet Witch enters the fight, leaving Vision and Shuri vulnerable, and after an attack on the lab, Vision is forced to fight as well, putting him out in the open. Everyone rallies to defend him, but Thanos arrives and pulls out the Mind Stone, killing Vision and completing the gauntlet. So, before the tragedy begins, a couple of funny things happen. One of them is Thor sees Captain America again for the first time in a while.
Your haircut? Notice you've copied my beard. Oh, by the way, this is a friend of mine, Tree.
I am Groot!
I am Steve Rogers.
He does the hand motion too. It's so adorable.
It's just a very sincere man.
So sincere.
And I like it when Black Widow and Scarlet Witch kill Proxima Midnight. She kind of gets splattered by one of those rolling machines or whatever.
Yeah.
And Black Widow's just like, that was really gross.
Yeah.
It was a good scene.
I liked Okoye's line even better. She's like, what the hell was she doing up there? Like,
with Scarlet Witch? Yeah. Well, she was protecting Vision, like trying to keep people out. But
Proxima and Okoye's point was like, this girl clearly kicks ass. Like, why was she over there? Yeah.
So let's get to the tragic part here. It is, again, I'm getting goosebumps again. I didn't even start the sentence. It's brutal, absolutely brutal when Wanda has to destroy the stone while it's still in Vision's head.
Yeah.
They've tried everything they can. There's no options left. She has to destroy it. And he tells her,
Wanda, it's time.
No.
They can't stop him, Wanda, but we can.
Look at me. You have the power to destroy the star.
Don't.
You must do it. Oh, please. We are out of time.
I can't.
Yes, you can. You can. If he gets the stone, half the universe dies. It's not fair. It shouldn't be you, but it is. It's all right. You could never hurt me. I just feel you.
That's making me tear up a little bit right now. That is a tough scene.
Some good shit.
Yeah. And then after she destroys the stone, Thanos barely even hesitates. He says, "Now is no time to mourn. Now is no time at all." And he rewinds the explosion from the Mind Stone.
Yeah.
Puts it back together. Vision is back alive. Wanda went through all that only to have Thanos rewind time, kill Vision again, and take the Mind Stone.
Yeah.
And oh man, it's awful. It's so bad. Makes for a great movie though.
And he just bats her away too.
Yeah. And what I really liked, one detail I really like every time I watch it, even though it's tragic as hell, after he's holding Vision up with one hand, pulling the Mind Stone out with the other, and then you just see all the color fade from Vision's entire body. It goes to this drab gray color.
Vision also looks confused. Did you see that? Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Like when he got re-resurrected because he knew what was coming. And so he looks confused to have been like brought back alive or just to be alive again. But what is Vision made out of again? Was he in MCU? Is he made of it was like
this vibranium. It's like vibranium woven DNA, something. I forget what it was. It was something I had a little bit of a problem with, but I tried to let it slide because Vision's awesome.
Right. But like then Thanos just because he didn't use the Power Stone, but he stuck his fingers into Vision's skull basically and just pulled it out.
But Vision isn't. I mean, he's not pure vibranium, right? Because it would just be all metal. So I don't know. I don't have a problem with that one.
I was just saying, like he's hella strong because Vision is supposed to be really, really tough on the exterior too.
So, having acquired all the Infinity Stones, and despite a grievous wound that Thor inflicts with Stormbreaker, Thanos is able to complete his goal of wiping out half of all living things with a snap of his fingers. Then he uses the Space Stone to peace out. The good guys have lost, and major characters crumble into dust. So, I don't know about you, but the way that Thor is staring Thanos in the face, like he comes out of the sky from somewhere, whatever he's doing, throws Stormbreaker and hits Thanos right square in the chest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes up and he grabs Thanos by the back of the head and he's pushing on the axe, like pushing it deeper, and just the way he's staring into Thanos' face, man, I love that. He's just like consumed with vengeance.
Right. Well, he wanted him to pay for what he did in the Statesman too, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, he's so mad at him. Like, I totally get why, but just like the way that scene was done is fantastic.
But that's also why in Endgame he's all fucked up.
Yes, yes. But that's also great because for a second, like Thanos just got all the Infinity Stones, and Thor hits him with the axe and is like, pushing the axe further in, and you're like, it's gonna be okay. He's gonna stop him. But he doesn't, and Thanos goes, "You should have aimed for the head," which is a banger line.
Right.
And then he snaps, and that's it, man. Like, his work is done.
Yep. I am still annoyed that, like, why did Thor just show up there?
Yeah.
Like, he could have totally kept him from getting to Vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a cool movie.
No. It totally is. I'm not complaining at all. I'm just, like, when I think about it, I'm like, But still, even the effect of Stormbreaker spinning.
That was really cool.
Wiping out all of that, whatever that energy beam was.
And he was trying to, Thanos was trying to stop it.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit where Thanos is in the pocket universe and he sees little Gamora.
Daughter.
Did you do it?
Yes.
What did it cost?
Everything.
It's another emotional moment.
Yeah.
But it's never clear to me how did he recover from his axe wound, we'll call it.
Mm-hmm.
Did he, I guess maybe he could have used the time stone to fix it?
I figure it's either the time stone or the reality stone. He could pretty much do anything.
The reality stone wouldn't have fixed it permanently, though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Then probably the time stone. But yeah, I figure he can do anything now that he has all 5 of the stones.
Yeah. I guess another snap could have fixed it.
Yeah.
So, amongst so many others, we lose Bucky, T'Challa, Groot, Scarlet Witch, Falcon, Mantis, Drax, Quill, Doctor Strange, and Spider-Man. Interestingly, Bucky's metal arm disintegrates, and that's like the first part to disintegrate. I thought that was unusual. What's her name? Denai Guerrilla, who plays Okoye?
Yeah.
She deserves an award for face acting. When T'Challa crumbles, like he's trying to help her up, right? And then she just crumbles.
Yes.
She sells that reaction. Like, she was probably looking at like a tennis ball on a stick, right?
Yes.
Man, her reaction is great.
It's her king, and it's her job to protect him all the time.
Yes.
So.
And they just like crumbles the dust in front of her. She doesn't understand it. It's crazy.
She's probably like, what am I going to tell Angela Bassett?
So she's going to be pissed. When Wanda dies, she has like a look of relief, which I thought was a nice touch. I get why she would be relieved.
Yeah.
She's very upset. Doctor Strange, just before he crumbles, he looks at Tony and says it was the only way. I think Spider-Man is another one. I'm getting chills. Spider-Man was a hard one to watch.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to go, and he holds on a long time.
Well, you know why he holds on a long time, right?
Because he's so strong.
No, it's because his spider sense told him something was going to happen to him.
Oh.
So like he actually knew it was going to happen. Something was going to happen to him. And that's why he saw everybody. And his spider sense, I think, pretty much let him know it was also going to happen to him.
Damn. That's
what I got that from. I forget
rough.
Like a few articles online about it because everybody was wondering why Spider-Man was able to last so long.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
And sad, which I also like. I like being sad. I liked that all the disintegrations are a little bit different for each person. It wasn't just like the same exact thing. They didn't all happen at all the same time. I also like that there's no music. You just hear like the quiet wind and like these thunder sounds as people are just disintegrating left and right. That was really haunting. And then like at the end, when it's over, I just remember when I saw it in the theater, I was kind of like jaw on the floor and I just had to sit there for a minute. And I was like, and just like Quill, I was like, did we just lose?
Were you like, at least Iron Man's alive?
Yeah, for now. I remember the audience was really quiet. Like everybody was just in shock. This is the best downer ending since Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. But that's also what made Cap picking up Mjolnir in Endgame so great.
Oh, it's so good.
It's like the exact opposite of what happened here when everybody got snapped, right?
Yep. So at the end, Thanos is watching the sunset. Like he said he was gonna. I wonder if he's already done the second snap to destroy the stones.
Oh,
at this point or not? Just a question of curiosity. I don't expect you to know, but
yeah. They only explain that he did it. Well, actually, no. I guess when we get to Endgame, they do say that like how long after the first snap, the second snap happens.
But I don't know how long after this is that sunset.
Yeah.
Either. So, anyways, so then we have a stinger at the end. There's no mid-credit stinger, but there is the post-credit stinger where Hill and Fury, Maria Hill, if you don't know, and Nick Fury are driving through New York City, when everything starts to get chaotic because of the snap. There's cars crashing, a helicopter crashes too. Hill disintegrates, and then just before Fury does, he's able to pull a pager out and activate it, and then we see the symbol for Captain Marvel appear on the screen as it lays on the ground.
Also, just before he finishes saying mother.
Yes. Okay. Actually have a note on that.
Yeah.
According to the commentary, they said that Sam Jackson said the full motherfucker for all 12 takes that they did of that.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yes. And so they just cut it just right. But they had to do that. They had 12 takes on that. They just did it slightly different timing because I think they were trying to figure out like when he drops the pager or something. Yeah. Anyways, I like the when the helicopter, just before it crashes, you see all the ashes spilling out of it. Like the first time I saw it, I thought it was like on fire or something. I was like, why would it be on fire? And then I was like, oh no, it's the ashes from the people inside who disintegrated.
Oh, that would suck if it was just the pilot and then the people inside were still totally suck. Because that had to have happened, right?
Like, that totally.
There's a pilot somewhere.
There's got to be entire Reddit threads on stuff like that. Like, you know, so when everybody comes back, what about the people who died because the pilot on an airplane disintegrated? I don't know about you, but when I'm sure you knew what it meant, but I had no clue what that symbol on the pager was when I saw it.
Oh yeah. I knew that was Captain Marvel.
My buddy that I was with was able to clue me in, so that was helpful. Yeah.
I really like Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. I don't know why people give her so much shit. I didn't think her movie was that great because I don't know.
It's not awesome, but I like it a lot.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to revisiting it. I hope it's as good as I remember it.
Yeah, I mean, I like it because the Skrulls get introduced and everything.
Yeah,
it's just too bad. Stupid Secret Wars. Was it Secret Wars?
They've totally
ruined it. Yeah.
So then the last thing we see on the screen is Thanos will return. Rub some salt in the wound with that one, and he does. So. That's pretty much it for the movie. We can move on to changes unless you had anything else.
No. That was pretty comprehensive, I think. And right. I know that we're missing stuff because there was just so much good stuff in that movie. Yeah. Like lines. There's so many good lines. There's so many good deliveries of those
pretty
lines.
Pretty early on in my note taking for this, I was like, I have to go super lean with this.
Yeah.
Because, right now we're at, we killed about 10 minutes troubleshooting at the beginning. So we're a little over 2 hours. Not too bad, but it's a little longer than we would normally go. And we still got a couple sections to go here. So do you have proposed changes at all?
I think it would have been nice to see Thor fighting more in when he arrives. I do love his entrance. No, I think just in general, because then it would have been nice to see why he didn't get there when the rest of the Avengers were basically throwing themselves at Thanos.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Because I'm just annoyed that he's coming and now Thanos is already overpowered. And hey, he has a shot, but then he just fucks up the shot too on top of that. Yeah. Right. So I think that's the only change, and that's such a tiny nitpick because his entrance to beating up Thanos was pretty awesome. But no, I really just loved this movie in its entirety.
Yeah, I think my changes don't really matter. But if I had to make some improvements, I would so with the time stone, instead of saying that they swore an oath to protect the time stone so they can't destroy it or whatever, just say you don't have the power to destroy it. That would work, or something like that, or maybe it could be dangerous to destroy it. If what's going to happen? It's a time stone. What happens if you blow that up? Are you going to just completely create all sorts of different timelines? Is it going to stop time? Is it going to rewind time? Who knows, right? I mean, we don't know what's going to happen if we destroy it, right? That would be enough. Similarly, I think there needs to be better reasoning for not destroying the Mind Stone in Vision's head. So many Wakandans died trying to save Vision, basically, right? Everybody was trying to hold off the invasion. Overall, that's not a major gripe, though. And it would have been a lot less cool if they actually did just destroy it in his head, right? wouldn't have made for much of a movie. I just wish that the reason made more sense. So,
but even if they did, right, Thanos would just come and he would.
Oh, it's true. He does have the time
just
stone.
rewind
I guess
time.
because it still worked. But,
Yeah.
well, I guess ultimately they did have to destroy it in his head, right? That's what Scarlet Witch had to do.
Yeah.
But I guess I just meant like earlier on when they were like, yeah, this is a problem. He's going to come looking for this thing.
Oh, you know, I just realized, like, even if they had, that's why Doctor Strange was like, there's only one way out, and it's we give him the time stone, and it's because they gave it to him, and even if they even, actually, I'm talking myself into a loop because if they didn't give it to him, he wouldn't have been able. They would have destroyed the time. They would have destroyed the Mind Stone. So then they would have won. Oh wait! Oh no! Did I just destroy?
I just assumed that he didn't see any way in which Thanos doesn't get the time stone. Like they can give it to him, or they can make him take it. And I think it's like if they make him take it, then all these other things happen, and then it can never be undone. Because I have to assume that Doctor Strange knew it was going to be undone in the next movie, or not the next movie, but in Endgame.
Right. In another. Oh, actually, no. I think you're right. It's even if they didn't give it to him, he would have came after it, and even if they destroyed the Mind Stone, he would have had the time. He would have had the time stone eventually because he would have like ripped it out of Doctor Strange. Yeah, and then he would have been able to turn time back.
That's my assumption anyway. And I don't want to think about it any harder than that because I don't want to ruin this movie. So let's move on to ranking. Rotten Tomatoes has it at 85% with the critics, 7.6 out of 10. 92% with the audience, 4.5 out of 5, which is basically 9 out of 10. I don't know why the critics are so harsh on this.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, did you read any of the reasons why? I'm kind of curious now.
Or if I did, it was so long ago I forgot. But I just assume critics are stuffy butt wipes who don't think comic book movies are real movies. I don't know. I mean, some of them have been higher than that, but...
Right. Was it Martin Scorsese? Was he one of the critics?
He was guest criticking. So just for fun, our top 5 right now is Captain America Civil War at 1, Captain America The Winter Soldier at 2, Guardians of the Galaxy at 3, Spider-Man Homecoming at 4, and Iron Man at 5. The first Iron Man. So do you want to go first on the ranking or you want me to?
Yeah, I'm going to say it's number 1.
You don't want to think about that?
I don't have to think about it, mostly because for me, and I think I've mentioned this in several movies where I place them is that the just sheer joy of seeing all your heroes on the screen, and even just the care that the Russo, like to your point, right? You could swear that James Gunn had to have written lines for the Guardians of the Galaxy, but he didn't. But it still seems so in line. Like everything that they do seems very in line with the Guardians of the Galaxy. And there's just so much joy and care in this movie. And I don't care that all these people are like, oh, Marvel is just like funny all the time. Like they can go fuck themselves. I thought that this, even though this was such a serious movie, there's so much funny stuff in here, and it threaded all of that. It's just near perfectly for me. And so that's why it beats out Civil War. As much as I love Civil War because it's such a totally different, Infinity War has like all of the best parts of what makes a comic book movie to me.
Yeah, I agree with that. For me, I feel like there's no way this movie should work at all, let alone be this good. I don't know how they did this. There's incredible use of so many well-developed characters. The tones of each movie that the characters were in before is well balanced throughout. And the blending of the different genres and tones of each of the movies that the characters are pulled from is done exceptionally well. The movie itself has a pretty simple plot, but it's made more complex by the weaving together of the different storylines. It's a very character-focused movie, and I never really realized that before, but for the most part, this is Thanos' story.
Mm-hmm.
Top scenes. I had a quick top scenes thing. Did you have a top scenes you wanted to?
No. All of it would.
All of it.
The whole movie is like my top scene.
So I'm saying my top scenes is everything sad. Gamora getting thrown off the cliff for the Soul Stone and much of the lead up to that. Wanda having to destroy the stone while it's still in Vision's head, and then he gets killed again right in front of her. And so many beloved characters disappearing at the end. I was thinking about this movie for days after I saw it the first time.
Yeah.
I hate to do it to my boy Cap, but he's coming along for the ride in a way. So this is the new number one for me as well. It's way too huge to be anywhere else.
Yeah.
I did have, in my own ranking, I did have Civil War above it before, but I've been re-ranking them as we go, and it's not anymore. This one's, it's essentially a tie, but I can't have a tie, so I'm going to give Infinity War the win.
Yeah. I think that's where like the joy of the movie pushes me over. Because to me, it is somewhat, they're so close. It's like a pube hair away close
yes.
for me. Like, you know, and it's just the joy of Infinity War. All the good lines, all the delivery of those lines, how, to your point, like how they preserve the different tones of all of the characters from their own movies. It's amazing to me.
Agree. So we don't have to play Infinity Saga Trivial Pursuit Poker, but I think we should do it anyway, just for fun.
Since it is Infinity War.
That's true. If we skip today, that would be terrible. Okay, let's read.
Are you yawning in the middle of this while I'm breaking it down? Huh? Did you hear what I said?
Stop listening after you said we need a plan.
Okay, Mr. Clean's on his own page.
Let's see. It's my turn to bid first. Let me know when you're done reading.
I'm done.
Okay. I am going to bid. I'm going to bid 3. Can you bid more, or are you going to let me?
I'll bid 4 just to try for it.
Nice. Yeah. I'm positive on 3, and there's 2 I'm kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter, so let me find the answers, and then let me know when you are ready.
Sure.
I'm going to be probably pretty lenient with the answer to this first one, because I'm not sure exactly how they wanted it answered, but
yeah. All I know is this piece right here, whatever that was.
I would accept that as an answer. To disguise herself, what does the Alt 2014 Nebula take from Nebula?
Like I called it the headpiece, whatever that little
that's
piece.
Damn close to what they were. Head plate.
Head plate.
But I'm going to give you. I was like the little thing around her eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Count it.
I was going to say headgear, but that's like, isn't that like braces?
Yes. What number does Morgan say she loves her father?
3,000.
That is correct. I knew that one as well. What is Yondu's last name?
Ondanta.
What is it?
Ondanta or Odonta? Udonta?
Udonta, yeah.
I don't know if I was pronouncing it right.
Yeah. Well, it sounded like you were saying Undanta, like there was an extra N in there. I was going to give you a hard time about that. Okay, so you got 3 right now. You're 3 for 3. What is
I definitely don't know this.
Yeah, I had no clue. I can't even guess on this one. What is written on Tony Stark's name tag at the conference in Switzerland?
What was it?
I'll give you a hint. It's from Iron Man 3 at the beginning.
Iron Man 3.
Now that I see the answer, I know.
I don't know. I was going to say Tony Stank. No, it couldn't be that.
You know who I am.
Oh.
As soon as I saw it, I get it.
That's a very Tony Stark thing, yeah.
Yeah. I'll be impressed if you know this one. What does Bruce Banner say the largest wormhole on Sakaar looks like?
I was going to say the devil's anus.
That's would have been my only guess, because that's what everybody else calls it, but I know he didn't name it that. It looks like a collapsing neutron star inside an Einstein-Rosen bridge.
Right.
Which
of
sounds
course,
familiar now.
Bruce Banner, yeah.
And I should have bid 4. What do Hydra agents take when they are captured?
I was going to say cyanide?
It's cyanide, yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
I was like, it can't be cyanide, but I'm pretty sure it's cyanide, and it is. So I would have had that. Anyways, you got your 4, right? Yeah.
Sweet.
1, 2, 3, 4. All right. George wins 4 for 4. Great. Good job, man.
So depressing.
Yes.
I'm looking at like next up Ant-Man and the Wasp, and it's like, why?
That is it for Avengers Infinity War. Next up, Ant-Man and the Wasp from July 6, 2018. Apologies in advance. If you want to contact us, you can email us at absolutelythebestpodcast@gmail.com. Join our Discord. There's a link in the show notes. We have links there to our socials and a couple ways you can help support the show. Please leave us a review. And please help us spread the word. Tell your friends, tell a colleague, and tell a loved one. Thank you for listening, and try to have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Absolutely the Best Podcast is a production of Audio Johnny, a subsidiary of Corporation Johnny.
Corporation Johnny. If it exists, we own it.